Hi, I'm Maria Castillo, and I am interviewing Saif. How do you pronounce your last name?
Alsaegh.
Alsaegh for my immigration interview. So, Saif, where did you move to the United States from?
Well, before moving to live here, I was living in Damascus, in Syria,
Okay, and prior to that, where were you born?
in Baghdad, Iraq.
Okay, well, obviously you had moved elsewhere from your native country
Yeah, I've
to
been.
Syria.
I moved to Syria just to do the scholarship program that bring people here to the U.S. to like get them scholarships to study here in the U.S. Basically,
How old were you when you moved to Syria from Iraq?
I was like 19.
Okay.
Uh,
Um, so when you moved to America from Syria, what was uprooting your life like?
what was what?
Uprooting your life, like moving, everything that you own and like everything that you know and leaving it behind and coming to America. Like, what was that like?
Well, it's just traveling in general is a very interesting, path you go through. Um, Living in Iraq, you live in a very. I lived in Baghdad is a big city. It's like 9 million people. There's a lot of, just crowded streets. Just chaos, and then leaving all of that, going to Montana, where you had to leave. Where first you left everything you owned. That's like you just leave everything you
Right.
own, and then you leave friends and you leave family, and then you decide to take a step way further away than anything you know, and Montana and specifically is even a wilder place, a more wild place than any other state in the U.S. So you decide not only to move to another big city, you decide to move to a small town.
Right. So like
Where
rural.
there's
You mean
yeah,
like
exactly,
less populated.
exactly you move from populated city to a very rural area where there's cows 10 minutes. If you drive 10 minutes away,
Yeah.
there's a cow. So and just that itself is a big change, and then leaving people you know behind, and most importantly, you leave family behind. That was a big thing.
Okay, so you moved from Syria to America by yourself,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And how was adjusting to life in Montana? Like, what was the hardest thing that you adjusted to, do you think? Or the easiest thing?
Just understanding people, I think, was one of the hardest things to understand. Like, just people are very, they have very different mentality. Like, the paradigm, let's say, of the society here is very, directed towards family, towards old-fashioned values, and when you're a foreigner and you go to the U.S., you think about the Hollywood America, the America that is glamorous and chaotic and druggy, and then you go to Montana where people still have a good family structure. So that was a nice thing that I liked. It was similar to where I am from. There's a good family structure. People like each other, not very angry all the time, very rude. But at the same time, just the ignorance that people had about the Middle East, not knowing the difference between Iraq and Afghanistan, not knowing that Afghanistan is not even considered the Middle East, just thinking that we ride camels, that we don't have TVs, stuff like that. That was the hardest part, is just to talk to those people and like actually put effort into explaining yourself, which I kind of sometimes don't do. I lie.
You just let people kind of.
No, I lie. I
run
tell
on.
them I'm from Haver.
Oh.
It works.
From Havre,
Yeah.
Montana?
I really do. It works.
So when you came to the U.S., did you know English? Had you studied English previous?
So they teach English in Iraq, like in primary school, like third, fourth grade. But they teach us like just let's say as Spanish here, so
Okay.
it's not great.
Right.
But you know basics.
Mm-hmm.
But then I came to the U.S. a couple of times before moving to live in Montana
Oh, okay.
during the summer. It was like summer leadership exchange programs funded by the state, Department of State, and so you come here for the summer. So that's kind of where I got a little bit of a. I had a better accent, better understanding of everyday American English. But then when I moved to Syria, I studied academic English, where I had to write like start like learning how to write papers, like research papers,
Right.
college level papers, reading books, all these stuff. So in Syria, I lived a lot of that academic stuff. And then when you live here, especially when you live in Montana, where there's not a lot of Arabs, you're forced to speak English all the time. Like a lot of my friends are in bigger schools where there's a big Arab population of students, so they have a lot of Arab friends. I, on the other hand, I don't have any other Arab friends, so I speak English all the time. So that just gives you the practice, kind of.
Right. Okay. What institutions or groups of people helped make the process easier, like the process of moving here?
It's the Iraqi Student Project. It's the program I came with. I moved to Syria with, and then they did all the paperwork and organized all the interviews and everything. And then they taught all that material that we learned.
Okay.
So they have all the credits for me coming
Okay.
here, and then other people, other programs like in the summer program, the Iraqi Young Leaders Exchange program, helped me a lot to like kind of start, kind of communicating with those groups of scholars in Iraq that go to different countries and come back. So it was just a big circle of connection, but mostly that program.
Okay. And what was the name of the program?
Iraqi Student Project, ISP.
Okay.
So cool.
Have you ever felt subordinate here, like discriminated against at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, not a lot, but yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to describe one of those experiences or how, like...
Yeah. Well, I remember freshman year, I was working down at the admission office, and my mom called, and I was speaking, talking in Arabic, speaking Arabic with her, and so I didn't, it was loud, so I left the office to talk to her. Then this older guy with his son, they come in, and I didn't see it, but they told me about it. I had my wallet on my wallet on the desk, and he picked up my wallet, started going through my wallet, checking my IDs, and then when they asked him what was he doing, he was like, I got shot by those people. So,
So he was military.
Yeah.
He had been
military.
military.
Yeah, he's been in the military.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I've had them questions, but nothing
Right.
nothing that was like huge. Nothing that was not funny. Nothing that was harming.
So you just take things kind of comically.
Yeah, you don't think about that.
Right.
It's more important thing.
Yeah, totally. All right, so this kind of goes hand in hand with the question I asked previously about like what institutions helped you to get here, but on what terms did you initially move from your home country? So as a student, right? That was
There was no agreement. It was just so weird, man. My program is so poor that they didn't promise, like other programs promise you a scholarship. You just get accepted. My program was like, move to Syria, leave everything, and come study with us. And we're gonna try as much as we can to get you a full ride.
to America.
Yeah. So they don't promise you anything. This is just like literally, some people have stayed 2 years in the same program to get a scholarship. So it was all like luck and just work. You work hard, you pick the right school for you. I was lucky that I got accepted in like 2 months, in like a month and a half. I was very lucky, but you move on. Like I didn't move on like that. I'm for sure going. Like there was part of me that I might go back to Iraq. So it was just a very vague.
Like things just kind of happened and
Yeah.
you went with it.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just take risk, and this is what I always done. Take risks, because you move to Syria. Because I was studying at the University of Baghdad in Iraq, so I left school. Like I dropped out, and moved to Syria on a hope that I will study and work hard to come here, and it happened.
Right. That's
so.
awesome. And you are graduating in May.
Yes.
May of 2015, so in a few weeks. What have you begun the naturalization process, or are you going to? What are your plans?
Like what do you mean?
I think it's a naturalization is like the process
of
to
being
become
a
a citizen.
Yeah, I started immigration. I applied for immigration, so I'm just waiting for.
So
my
you're
interview.
planning on staying?
Yeah,
in
I'm
America.
not. My family is coming here from Turkey.
Okay.
So everybody's hopefully is coming here.
You guys are all gonna reunite
Yeah,
in America.
somewhere. Yeah,
That's
in the
awesome.
US, yeah.
All right. So what exactly, like, what's the process that you've begun? Can you kind of walk me a little bit through
Yeah,
that?
you just apply. You can hire a lawyer or not. I did hire a lawyer, because it's easier. You hire a lawyer. You just fill out a lot of applications, paperwork of who you are, what are you doing here, and why you need to apply for asylum. So you write a letter, about 2 pages, 3 pages letter, saying that these are the reasons that why I can go back to Iraq. And one of them, me being Christian, a minority, a targeted minority in Iraq. I worked in journalism. That's also a targeted group in Iraq. I did a lot of stuff that, I mean, a lot of did a lot of being just being associated with the West is another reason. So you write all these reasons and you apply, and then you have to do fingerprints, and then you get an interview, and then they interview you, and based on your reasons they say yes or no.
Have you been interviewed
No,
yet?
not yet. Not yet. I just applied. Like, a
Okay,
few weeks
so you're
ago.
waiting for the
I'm
interview.
waiting. Yeah, and I have to do fingerprints and then waiting for an
Oh, okay.
interview. And this interview can be like in a month, could be in 2 months. It's a very vague period of life.
Right.
It's just they don't tell you anything. It can be everything could take 30 days to like 40, like to 4 months. So it's just like it's just so vague. So to get and you need it for your work authorization. It's a lot of complicated stuff. So
Okay.
that's kind of, it kind of holds you back from applying to
Right.
jobs. And
Right.
all those
So, have you given any thought to like what you're gonna do after graduation, since you're kind of in limbo with the whole?
Well, I'm gonna try to figure out something in the summer, and hopefully, like, move maybe to a bigger city to start
Okay.
like a writing.
Because
directing
you're an
stuff.
artist, correct?
I like art.
Yeah, you're a writer.
Yeah, I
And
write.
so-
Yeah, so I want to do writing and
Right.
directing, filmmaking, theater, literature, stuff like that. Just
Yeah.
art in general.
All right. Well, thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
This is NPR.